sideways, boys in the days. Sleeping sideways, boys in the days. Sleeping sideways, boys in the days. On a Sunday night, I might bring me some games. Sleeping sideways, boys in the days. Sleeping sideways, boys in the days. Sleeping sideways.
Thank you for agreeing to do this. I really appreciate it.
No, no problem.
For those of you who don't know who this man is, this is the homie Tomcat. Now, Tomcat, a lot of people have seen in chats coming in with a good sized message of positivity. And he's always good energy, and I feel like this would be a really fun episode to kind of pick your brain as to who you are and what you do, and get to know you a little bit better. So, without further ado, why don't you go ahead and tell the homies who you are and what you do?
So as far as with work, I'm a sales consultant for a dealership here in Texas. Aside from work, I like to stream. I've been streaming for about a year and a half. A variety of streamers, play a little bit of everything, but try and get everybody involved as far as with the community for our community nights. Like to keep the community involved, but it's also a safe place. A lot of people don't think that when we stream, this is more of like it's like sometimes a getaway for people.
Mm-hmm.
Some people maybe be going through some rough stuff, and to get away from them, and what better way just to watch us or any one of us just to vibe on and just get away from reality and just kind of relax.
Right.
But that's what I'm about.
Nice. And when you stream, what is it you're usually streaming?
A little bit of everything. It's not really something really set in stone. Lately, we've been doing a whole bunch of. I think you've been in a couple of streams for
Mm-hmm.
Armored Core 6,
Yep.
Grid Legend. So it's not really something set. If it's something that I see that I like, then
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna play it.
Right, right. Yeah, I missed the Grid Legends stream, but I caught the Armored Core stream, and then before I think Grid Legends, you were playing the Alien game.
Yeah,
You're just running
Aliens
around with
Fire
a
and Fire
flamethrower.
Team. Yeah, yeah, that's a fun game. I was trying to get into Alien Isolation, but apparently
Hmm.
you couldn't do a face cam on the PS5 with that particular game, and there was a lot of people that were kind of ticked off about it for whatever reason, and
Hmm.
I don't think they've ever even fixed it.
Right. And then
Yeah.
um, beyond that, though, like I mean, clearly you're wearing a Pokemon blazer, and you have a lot of Pokemon behind you. So what's
Yeah.
your connection to the Pokemon community in Twitch, or on Twitch, rather?
So at the age of 9 is where pretty much everything started. Way back when I'm pretty much like an OG when it came to starting with Pokemon. There was a store we had way back in the 90s when everything started. It was a Warner Brothers store here in Texas,
Hmm.
and the whole hype was going on right after Red and Blue came out, and then Yellow came out. The trading card game came out, and it wasn't so much more of me, but my parents were the one that got more involved because they were getting all of the hype into it as well. So it
Right.
wasn't just me; it was like pretty much the people in the household that got
Right.
involved, and went from there to um, collecting to playing. A couple of years later, started getting into Twitch. I had a friend of mine that told me, like, "Hey, you should get onto Twitch. There's a whole bunch of people that open cards." And at the time, I never understood. I was like, "Well, why would people sit down to watch people open cards?" And then
Hmm.
I started seeing what the hype was. Okay, I said, "Okay, well, that makes sense." To to see what they're doing online. They're doing breaks for people online, whether they're on the other side of the world or nationally.
Right.
Um, then I had a few people ask me, "Well, how come you don't stream?" And I said, well, I don't know how to stream. I don't have a computer. And Peachy Prims was the one that told me that So you should probably stream because you're recognized because when you pop in, you're popping in with these words of motivation and
Mhm.
why not do your own stream and start doing something like that and it took me a couple weeks to take that extra step to get into it.
Mhm.
And at first I didn't have the camera. It took a little bit of time to have like a face cam, and once I did, people started coming through, and it didn't even take me too long to get to affiliate. Usually it takes quite some time for people to get to affiliate, but being that I was so much connected with the Pokemon community, it didn't even take, but I think about 3, 4 weeks.
Mhm.
And I'm, and I keep telling everybody, I'm very grateful for everybody that has supported me, not only in the Twitch community or the Pokemon community, but even my folks
Right.
have supported me through day one,
Right.
from Pokemon. And um, I can't thank everybody enough for all the support.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I've been seeing those positive messages for I want to say like a couple years now. Like,
Yeah, it's
and
been about 2 years.
yeah, and I don't how long have you been like streaming?
It's been about a year and a half.
Year and a half?
Year and a half, I started streaming, and like I said, at first I didn't have a face cam, and then it took about a few weeks to a month to buy the face cam to actually start doing that. We were
Mhm.
doing games, and then we were doing IRL streams for breaks, which I was
Mhm.
just simply doing it from the phone.
Mhm.
And then we started getting into giveaways. We're giving away cards. We even gave we had a Valentine's. I remember the coolest one we did on stream was a Valentine's Day party, and we
Mhm.
gave a 3D print of the Bulbasaur with the, it was like a rose bulb
Oh, okay.
on the back. Instead of the bulb, it was a rose.
Nice.
And some people that also had supported with me on that was Sandbox 3D Prints,
Okay.
which they've been doing some really good work, as far as that's concerned. And I think we may even do another uh, giveaway here in the future because they've been wanting to kind of put their names out there.
Yeah. Nice. So, did the name Tomcat come before you joined Twitch? Like, was it your gamer tag? And where did the name Tomcat come from?
So the name came from actually my work, which I worked for a Chrysler dealership,
Mhm.
and they had Hellcat Challenger Charger Hellcats that were over there, and this GM that was there, and I was like, "Isn't your name Tom?" And it's like, "So, well, yeah." I was like, "I said, why don't we just call you Tomcat?" And it kind of stuck on. I was like, "Well, that's a good name." And then they started putting my name on all the stuff as far as like how many cars we had for the month, and
Mhm.
it just kind of stuck on. And I was like, "Well, if I do get into like any sort of gamer or something, why don't I just do that?" And I started changing everything. It was first before this, it was TC Mustang 2006, and that stuck on for a couple years.
Mhm.
And then when I started getting into streaming, I was like, well, let me change it up. Let me change it to something else.
Mhm.
And I thought, I'll say, well, the Tomcat, and then 10's always been a lucky number to me,
Hmm.
so I just put that in the end, put the Tomcat 10.
Nice. Okay. Um, so your GM gave you the name?
Yeah, my GM at the time, which was close to about 5 years ago.
Mhm. So was it like a marketing ploy, or was it like you were new and he was like, "Hey, what's your name, kid?" And you're like, "I'm David," and he just
Yeah, it
and
was one of those pick on the new kid kind of thing.
okay, okay. You're like, "My name's Tom." He's like, "Now you're
Yeah,
Tomcat.
yeah, we're
Put it
gonna
on
give
all the
you that name.
posters."
Like it's too short of a name. We need to spice it up a little bit.
Nice. Dude, you know what's so I actually worked selling cars years ago. And I worked at a tiny little dealership that is like it's the oldest Chevy dealership in the state of Washington. So it's like
Really?
over 100 years old. There's pictures from inside that place of them working on like Model A's, working on
Hmm.
Oldsmobiles, like a bunch of old stuff. They used to have like the tubes that went through like in the 60s to like
Yeah.
pass notes around the building, and it is crazy. But it was a lot of fun. I low key. miss the job. Like I was the kind of salesperson where I like wanted to just be honest with people. Like they'd be like, "Hey, what kind of
Yeah.
car are you looking for?" And then I just try to find them the car they want. I don't try to, give them what's going to make me money. Which used to
Right.
piss off my sales manager all the time. He'd be like, "No, we need to move this car,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "I don't care. They came in looking for this car. Like, it's right here. We're gonna get them this car. Like, I'm sorry."
Trust me, I know that feeling. It's
Yeah, it's not fun, and I just refuse to like do people dirty. And it did me well. Like people could
yeah.
tell I was genuine, and it was a lot of fun. And um, but yeah, I kind of miss it. So
You know, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned about how about the dealership that you worked at. The one that I worked at has been at the same property for about, I think, at least like 75 years.
wow, that's a
It's been
long
on
time.
on the same property, and it's just a iconic dealership here in where I live at,
Hmm.
and everyone knows it too well. And then the transition came in when this company out in Canada started buying out some dealerships, which is one of ours,
Hmm.
and it's been kind of, and you know, with the market, with everything going on, it's just really been shook.
Yeah.
And and you know, we're still there, and we try and make whatever we can, but um you know, we always keep our heads up regardless of how the times go and how the market goes.
Yeah. But I mean, if it's been there that long, it was there during like the heyday, during the 70s and 80s and
Right.
90s,
Mhm.
where the car business was wild. My sales
Right.
manager, he worked at it was a Lamborghini and like Cadillac dealership or something somewhere in
Hmm.
Texas, and he said that it was so wild back then that they had a bathroom that was just for boga sugar. That's the only reason you went into that bathroom. That's all it was for. And
Wow.
he said it was wild. Old car dogs, bro. They're the most hilarious human beings I've ever met in my life. Old car dogs have been
Yeah.
doing it for like 30, 40 years. Like, bro, we used to get vacations all the time, and they'd give us cars and all this stuff, and it like
Mhm.
it was wild. Like the automotive industry used to be way different when it came to the sales. Like they used to give
Mhm.
out awards all the time to people and fly people out for vacations and give away cars and like like all kinds of like big money bonuses from the manufacturer, not from the dealership. And
Yeah.
they all pretty much have stopped doing it. Like it's
Mhm.
crazy. But yeah, like the dealership I worked at, it was huge in like the 70s and 80s because it was a logging boom up there. And so they were
Right.
just going through cars and trucks. It was just everyone had money. And then they had like a spotted owl ban and on old growth,
Yeah.
and then it all just went. Eh,
Yeah.
So I mean, the place is still there, but like the economy hit has definitely been different. Like I had a
Yeah.
used car manager. He ran a Cadillac dealership that was in the area back in the day, and he again 1,000 stories.
Mhm.
But yeah, they used to
It,
always sit around and just tell stories.
yeah. And it's funny because when I started, I mean, we were doing, I was at least doing 15 to 18 a month, 15 to 18 cars a month. And this was
Mhm.
back in 2015, 2016.
Mhm.
Now it's just, it's hard. It's really, really difficult. But
Mhm.
uh, I get that people are like afraid of the market with where it's going to go as far as like rates and stuff like that. So it makes sense. But
Right.
then there's people that are out there that need the help as far as like having some sort of transportation, and you know, it's market's crazy. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah, the market's wild. Like my last few
Mm.
cars, I had to buy like very carefully. And like I had my 14 Mustang I bought, they didn't know what they had. They had just got it. It had just gotten out of safety and detail and they didn't even realize it was a premium, so they gave it basically like it was modified and it was a premium edition 6-speed manual, 5.0 Coyote 14 Mustang, and they undervalued it, and so I got it for a screaming deal. It only had 17,000 miles on it, and
That's not bad.
yeah, and this was in 2019, I think. And it was like garage kept, slightly modified. I spent like hours under it before I bought it and negotiated the deal. They gave me more than what I wanted for my trade in, and
Hmm.
they gave it to me way under book. And yeah, so I snatched that up, and then when I traded it in for my Tacoma, it was like the same thing. The guy that I made friends with the salesman in the area because I had moved to California,
Yeah.
and I helped my aunt buy a car, so I met a salesperson, and he was super good to me. And he hit me up. He's like, "Bro, we just got in a truck you should come look at." And I was looking for an FJ Cruiser, and I run down there, and I'm like, "Bro, He's like, just look at it first." It already had wheels and tires on it, had a leveling kit on it, had a camper on it that I didn't want. But
Hmm.
other than that, it was like perfect, and I was like, "I'll take it." And so I went and
Yeah.
negotiated the deal. They gave me more than what I paid for my car, and they gave me for trade in. It was that bad. And then,
Yeah. Typically, they'll do that to try and to make the deal like feasible. If they have to give
hmm
you like more for the trade and
hmm
then discount there, like they had to like kind of balance it out to where it works all
right.
together.
And the best part is because the truck they had just gotten it on trade, or at auction. I think they took it in on trade, but it hadn't been safetied, hadn't been cleaned, hadn't been touched. It was on an offsite lot, so no one saw it at the dealership until
Um,
after they said I was gonna buy it. And so we're signing the papers, and the salesman, and he's like, "Man," he's like, "that's a great price for a TRD." And the sales manager, like, he was handling all the paperwork. He picks up its paper off the table as he says that, and he just freezes. He's like, "Did you just say it's a TRD?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I had already signed for it, and they're like, "Oh shit."
they regretted it.
Yep, they thought it was a base model because it just comes up as
Oh
SR5.
my God.
So they gave me SR5 price instead of TRD 4x4 off-road price.
Well, I bet you that inventory guy didn't last that long.
No. Well, see, they probably didn't let that salesman sell there much longer because
Yeah.
he did the dealership dirty. He didn't even like let them know what we were looking at. He just like, "Yeah, here's this truck,
Oh
homie."
man.
He was just chilling. He's just some old dude.
Yeah.
He was super nice though. But anyway, so you mentioned earlier that your old name was TC Mustang, which I'm guessing the TC's for Tomcat. So, but Mustang, and I do see you post pictures of Mustangs often on Instagram. So, kind of car do you drive?
So my first car was a 2008. Well, I still actually have it. It's a 2008 Mustang.
Okay.
Um, I have a Challenger as well,
Mhm.
and then I wanted to look for a 2007 2008 Magnum
Mhm.
for like the longest time, just because you can do a swap from having the 3.5 that was in the Magnums and put a 5.7 or even a 6.4
Mhm.
in it. Back when Craigslist was a hype at the
Mhm.
time. Um, I was killing time trying to look. This kid that was going to UTSA
Mhm.
here in town, he had put an ad up for a Candy Apple Red 2007 Dodge Magnum, had about 115,000 miles, looked in good shape,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Well, I'm only gonna take 750," and usually you haggle the price. And I said, "Well, I only got like 500," so he agreed to the five, and just went from there. I'm Whatever catches my eye, I'll
Mhm.
try and see what I can do. But
Mhm.
as far as that point, like the Mustang, the Magnum, and the Challenger, I mean, that's like a good little collection, so to
Right.
say.
Right. Yeah, no, that's not bad. So you have a
Yeah.
Magnum, or you're trying to get one still?
No, I actually had bought it from that kid. He
Oh,
was
okay.
trying to use that money to get books and kind of finish up his tuition at UTSA.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you have
So he
three
used
cars
that
right now?
money.
You have three
Hmm?
cars right now?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Which one do you drive the most?
the Challenger.
The Challenger. What's
Yeah.
the trim level of the Challenger?
It's an SXT blacktop.
Okay. Auto or manual?
Auto.
Auto. Yeah, I almost before I bought the Mustang, I originally went to it was like the auto mall, and it was to go look at a Challenger that was like a base model, um, 5.3 or
The
5.7.
RT.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
but it was like a base model cloth interior, but it was a manual, so it was V8
Yeah.
manual, and I was like, damn, had like the little teeny radio in it, not the big
Yeah. It was
double.
like a little. I think on those it was like a 3-inch touchscreen. I
Yeah, I
think
was like this big.
a little tiny one.
I was like, that's broke as fuck. I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
And then as I was leaving the auto, I went and took it for a test drive, and I was like, bro, I can't even see over the right side of the hood. I'm like, this thing's huge, and I was like, I don't know about
Yeah.
this. So I was like, I was gonna spend the rest of the day car shopping. So I went to leave, and as I was coming into the auto mall to go look at that Challenger, the Mustang was sitting out on the grass, but it started raining and I had J's on, and I wasn't about to walk through wet grass to go look at a car. So
Yeah.
so I just passed it and went and looked at the test drove the Challenger, all that shit. And as I was leaving, it was gone. And I was like, oh shit. So I drove down into the dealership because it was like off the road down that little hill to get into the parking lot. And it was down in the parking lot. So I was like, all right. So I jump out of the car, and I was looking for a manual car. So I walk up
Mhm.
to it. I was like, please don't be manual because I don't want red. And I look and it was manual. I was like, fuck.
I know.
And it was a 14 GT50, and I was like, fuck. And so I went and test drove it, looked under it for like an hour, and then left, and then went and car shopped like in Tacoma for like, I don't know, the rest of the day, and then came back, got under it again, test drove it again, and worked out the deal. But I mean, before, from the time I drove it the first time to the time I drove it the second time, I drove a Boss 302 2014. I drove a bunch of WRXs. I drove a bunch of shit. At different dealerships and ended up just going and getting that Mustang. It was a good time though. But
Yeah.
anyway, what's your home life like? Like are you in a relationship or do you live alone?
No, I have I have a 4-year-old daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's out of majority of the time she's out of town, and but single dad for about 4 years. But the way I look at it, I don't. How can I put it? The majority of the women that I've like dated over time, they just a lot of them were dead ends. So
Mm-hmm.
it kind of led me to a point to just kind of take it easy, thinking about myself, my goals, and it's not so much like being selfish, but it's like you're focusing on goals that you may have, and then
Right.
along the way, you might run into somebody that whenever you're not even paying attention. And they
Right.
say a lot of times when you're not paying attention, there's probably somebody that's looking at your that's that has interest in you. So that's kind of the mentality that I've had over the years.
Yeah. Um, so do you just like live alone, like you got your own spot?
I take care of my folks here at home.
Oh, okay. How are they
Hmm.
doing?
They're doing good. They're doing good. They're always doing some sort of home project. So whenever I'm getting home from work, say, "Hey, look what we did over here in the backyard." I was like, "I did more stuff in the back."
Hell yeah, like that gardening and stuff?
Yeah,
Nice.
my mom's a green thumb, so she'll plant and then they'll get into like building stuff in the back of the house, and
Mm-hmm.
they even put up a fence on their own. I was like, well, how'd y'all even do that? And they well, we were looking up on YouTube, and YouTube taught us. I was like, wow,
Hell yeah, bro. I
this
tell
is,
people
this is what
all the
y'all do when
time.
I'm not here.
Dude, I tell people all the time because I deal with a lot of elderly people, I'd say, just dealing with people. And I tell them all the time, if you ever need to learn anything, just go on YouTube, how to, and then whatever you are trying to figure out, and you'll get tons of videos. And I was like, watch a bunch of them, and if the ones they'll all kind of be saying the same thing, like do the thing. And they're like, oh,
Right.
okay. It's great.
It,
Uh,
it's always it's helped out along the way with watching YouTube videos. I'll tell you that.
yeah. What do your parents think about you streaming? Like, what are their thoughts on it?
They've supported it. There were a couple of streams that we did when I did IRL
Mhm.
streams as far as with the breaks. They were there
Mhm.
sitting down with me whenever I did some of the breaks. So like behind the screen, they were there
Yeah.
vibing on, but they love it. I mean, they've even supported. It's like, well, why don't you give something away, like, or um, why don't you stream for this and this amount of hours, like longer, like,
They're like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
stream.
know, and like it's like I know you got work tomorrow, but we'll wake you up if you're gonna be on longer, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Like, why do I
Yeah.
want to see the stream with you helping your parents garden in the back, and you're just all in there talking and having conversations and just why do I want to see that stream now? Like, why? Like, this sounds
Yeah.
so entertaining. Just you out there with your blazer, your Pokemon blazer, out gardening.
Yeah. Or like gardening hat.
Yep. Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite thing about being a streamer besides the community? Because everyone I've interviewed, they all say the same thing. They say the communities. But besides the community, what is your favorite thing
I
about
think
being a
it's
streamer?
I would say is running into so many multiple personalities because each person you're gonna run into some sort of like a everybody's got their own personality
Hmm.
and you may be playing like for example Armored Core 6. There's people that play Armored Core 6 and you know they vibe on with that or Red Legends. They're like a racing thing. They get into that. It's more so the games that I play that attract um, the viewers,
Hmm.
and I think that's what the stream's done for me is the stuff that I like. It attracts other people that have that similarities as far as playing that certain game, and
Hmm.
I think it's whatever I play that kind of brings people together.
Nice. Yeah, I had a stream that I did yesterday where I played a game and I was literally the only person streaming it. And it was like I didn't know how people would react, but a lot of people showed up, came and hung out for a little while, and was like, "Well, this game's actually pretty dope."
Was
So
it that drifting game that they had yesterday? I think.
yeah, it was drifting and
Yeah.
then highway racing in Japan. Like you're either on a track drifting or you're on the highway
What
racing.
was the name of that one? I think it starts with
Uh,
like an A. I think.
no, it's Kanjo Zoku,
I haven't heard that one. There's another one. There's one that's like that.
Japanese Drift
Um,
Master.
no, it starts with an A. I gotta look it up now.
Assetto?
But
You talking about
I see a lot of people play that.
Assetto Corsa with all the mods?
That one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
one.
see a lot of people play that. There's a lot of cool like different mods you can do. Like there's a huge drifting community. Like all the people that like use drift sims to like practice
Hmm.
drifting, that's what they play. They play Assetto because it feels and it's so close that it's close enough. And you can
Yeah,
literally there's kids that literally have only played Assetto Corsa with all the drifting mods on PC on a sim, and
right.
now they're jumping into cars and actually like being able to translate the two and doing very well usually on their first time out on a car with a car. So
Like the Gran Turismo movie.
yeah, basically, but with
Literally.
drifting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and the thing is it's basically all based off the individual's income, really, because can you afford a sim? Can you afford the PC to play the game? And then after you get a bunch of
Right.
practice, you build up this passion for it. Then you go buy a cheap drift car, jump into it, or jump into a buddy's car and go out and see if you can translate the two. And if you can,
Right.
then you're like mentally all in. Like, what do we have to do this all the time?
Yeah.
You know what I
What do you have
mean?
to do to proceed forward?
Hmm. So it's like that, except it's not based off one person winning a contest and then going through this long competition. It's like just I can do it right now. I can go,
Yeah.
I can buy the sim setup right now, or I can just go buy a cheap car and then like just practice and then go drive, practice, go drive, and it's wild. It's a wild time to
Yeah.
be a drift fan, and I've been a drift fan for a very, very long time, and this is the coolest it's ever been. Like this is wild.
Yeah. Sometimes from time to time we'll go to Austin at the Circuits of the Americas to go
Hmm.
for like the Formula One racings or even like any just the regular P1 races or I think they even have like a race night. I think you pay like 50 or $100. You can do like
Hmm.
10 laps around the track.
Right.
That's always been a fun thing. Even just the car meets that are out there too. Cars and Coffee is a big thing out there.
Mhm.
Even here in town, they have it. It's like every Saturday morning between 7:30 to 11.
Right.
They'll have it. I was in the car scene for a little bit for about 3 years when I had my
Mhm.
Mustang,
Yeah.
and there was this couple of oddball. You had those oddball people that are um in the car meets that kind of just kill the vibe, and
Mhm.
um, then you just started seeing it on the news about people
Yep.
doing stupid stuff, and it ended up
Mhm.
risking somebody's life, and it was just I
Yep.
kind of stopped for a little bit, but I want to slowly get back into it
Mhm.
when the time's right. It seems like things have calmed down a little bit
Yeah.
um, between then and now.
Yeah.
So I want to try and get back into that again.
Yeah, it seems like the street takeover stuff is really messing up the car scene in a lot of ways, because like I used to
Hmm.
do a lot of car meets, and then you go to like the bigger car meets, or you'd go, there'd be like big car events, so we'd go to like pre-meets before the big event and then all mob out to the events together like 20, 30 cars deep, and
Right.
that kind of shit's
Hmm.
fun and it's amazing, but the
Yeah.
street takeover shit has just ruined it, because you can't hardly have a car meet without someone whipping donuts or doing burnouts, and it just, it sucks. So like I haven't been in the car scene like basically since COVID. Like I moved to California with my Mustang. The drift tracks
Hmm.
were all basically shut down, and I was going to the beaches and the rivers and the lakes and everything instead. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go get a truck. And I already told the story, but I ended up with a truck. And I ever since,
Yeah.
like, I fixed up the truck and made it dope, but like since then I just drive it and do truck things, and pick up furniture at a thrift store. That's about
Yep.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
And it's funny you mentioned like the takedowns. Like here, they'll like shut down like the whole highway just
hmm
to do donuts like that. It's just bad,
yep.
dude. It's like
Well,
really bad.
yeah, but you're also in Texas, and Texas is the home of fucking 2,000 horsepower skyline racing on the highways at 2 in the
Yeah.
morning, and crazy Hayabusas and Corvettes and Vipers and all this craziness that
Hmm.
happens in Texas highways at night. Like,
Yeah.
it's so deep rooted in the culture there. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's wild. One thing, now that we're talking about the car shit again, my
Mhm.
boss told me when he was selling trucks, he's like, in Texas, you can't sell a four-wheel drive. He's like, every truck that's sold in Texas is pretty much just rear-wheel drive. Is that true? Is that still like,
Not not real. Well, depending on the consumer, I've had a lot of people that went 4x4 just to have
hmm
that convenience. Because if they have like a ranch and
right?
maybe like in out there in like a kind of by itself town, and
hmm
a lot of it'll be 4x4. But I've had a few people that have bought two-wheel drive trucks, but
Yeah,
majority of the people I've had wanted 4x4.
really? That's interesting.
Yeah, just to have that convenience.
Yeah, 'cause you're like in a flat part of Texas, or more of like a rougher,
More
like,
like a more like a dip, so to
okay.
say.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I've always wondered if that was like a real thing or not. And like, I get it, like, short cab, short bed, two-wheel drives probably sell quick down there, but I couldn't sell one
Mhm.
up here to save my life unless it's to a senior citizen. Like,
Yeah.
like that's about it. Like those don't move like they would, I would think, down south.
We
But
don't even have any like two-door trucks here because they once they come in, they just go straight back out
mm-hmm. Yep.
here. And now it's more like they had to have either a crew cab with
Mm-hmm.
4x4.
Mm-hmm.
They want the room and the necessities of the 4x4.
Yeah,
You know.
I feel like that there was a big shift even up here, where like everything up here had to be like since the 90s, I would say, like it just crew cab, four-wheel drive, short bed.
Yeah.
And then like that's why I think it was so easy to transition over to like Tahoes in the 90s,
Right.
and to the
Mm.
the swing of Suburbans and all this stuff. Because
Yeah.
Suburbans have been around for a long time, but they weren't like commercially that popular like they are now.
Right.
Like now, like
Yeah.
everyone wants a fucking Suburban. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But anyway, um, So, what's the longest stream that you've done as a streamer so far? What's your longest stream?
12-hour stream, and that was around the time I was trying to get affiliate.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I
What'd you?
haven't done a 24-hour stream just yet. I need to figure out a time to do that.
Yeah. What's
I think it'd be pretty cool to do. It's just I gotta time it with everything I'm doing with work, and then balancing it out with the day off, and you know
right? No,
that's the only thing.
yeah, I feel that. Like the what did you do on your 12-hour stream? 'Cause like I'm always interested like how you killed that amount of time, you know what
I think that's when I had started playing Fortnite. And this whole OG thing, like that was new to me because I didn't play Fortnite like way at the beginning like everybody else did.
I mean?
I came around Fortnite around season 3, and the streamer that introduced me to Fortnite, and I kept telling her, it's like, no, like I'm not gonna do it. It's like I can't get used to the um from an FPS to how Fortnite is.
Right.
And she's like, just try it, just play a couple of games, and if you want to, we'll collaborate and we'll do a stream. Her name was Irie Alora. She'll still stream from time to time, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I think recently she had got married.
Mm.
Um, so now she's doing her own thing. But I think she popped up on a couple of streams. But when I started playing that, I said, okay, well, I can get used to this as far as with how the play is on that. And
Mm-hmm.
then I started playing so much, I was like, well, shoot, it's already like 6, 8 hours. And then I started playing a little bit more longer.
Right.
And then that's when it led up to like 12 hours. Oh, shit. It's already
Damn.
12 hours.
That's a long ass stream.
Yeah.
It's crazy when a stream just naturally goes like crazy long.
Yeah.
You know what I
You don't
mean?
even you don't even look at the timer. You're just vibing through.
Right. That literally what happened to me yesterday. I was just playing the game and just having fun with the homies, chopping it up, racing people. Next
Hmm.
thing I know, it's like 4 hours. I'm like, yo, it's been 4 hours. And we just kept going. Then we hit
Yeah.
sub goal. And then we hit, next thing I know, 6 hours. I'm like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
like what happened? Like I
Hey,
was,
haven't been driving this long?
yeah, dude. I expected to stream for like an hour and a half, maybe. Like I figured like it'd probably be like just chill and I'd probably get bored, but then like the homies were all into it and then we just kept going and then next thing
Yeah.
I know we're fucking balls deep in this shit. And here we
Yeah.
are. It just goes like that sometimes. Oh man. Uh so what would you say your biggest win as a streamer has been? Just hitting affiliate or is there anything else that's been happening?
I wouldn't even say hitting the affiliate. I think so many connections that I've grown with as far as other streamers, including yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
just a whole bunch of different people, getting to know new people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the biggest thing for me. And affiliate, I mean, I feel as if that's just a title,
Mm-hmm.
so to say, but because I feel that some people they don't even focus more like on their community. It's just more of
Right.
like a money thing.
Mm-hmm. Like a
But
numbers game.
when you right, and I think when you get to know so many new people, and then you have repeats that come in, it's like, oh hey, like um Trunks is here, like with hanging out with us, like he'll watch Overwatch all the
Mm-hmm.
time. He's always wanting to play Overwatch. Um, just getting to know new people,
Right.
I think is the biggest plus for me, because it's like I said, there's so many multiple personalities that you get to know,
Right.
and it's a blessing just to have your circle grow bigger and bigger in due time, just because it's something that you love to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what I was saying was like I'm kind of weird in the way where I've never been really chasing the numbers per se. Um, like as far as like some people worry about like their follower count, or some people worry about like sub
Right.
count, or they worry about how many people are watching them or whatever.
Mm.
Um, like a lot of people like everyone wants to hit affiliate because it's like once you hit affiliate, you feel like you've achieved something, right? You're like, yes,
Right.
we're here. and that's
Yeah.
great, but it's like after that, I feel like if people that like are streaming and are constantly seeing the number of viewers, I think that hurts people. I think you need to turn that number off. Don't see it, don't worry about it. Talk to one person like you're talking to 1,000. um
Right.
and it's like the follower numbers to me like isn't what I think people should really focus on. I think people should be worried about viewership. How many people do you have versus how many followers is kind of like an important ratio. Like if you have
Yeah.
10,000 followers but you only have like 10 people in your streams, like you need to make an adjustment. Something's going on, you know what I mean? So it's
Right.
like to me I try to just worry about like the only time I really know like how many people are in my stream, I guess, is like when how many people join a bingo or how many people get into marbles. But
Right.
I also have a lot of people that just come in and lurk and just hang out and they don't get in the bingos and
Hmm.
they don't get in this stuff. They just are they're just hanging out, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like I try to just do me like throughout the whole thing as if I have one person or 1,000, doesn't matter to me. Like we just trying to
Yeah.
hang out. And I think that's like that's why doing like the stream yesterday is so fun because like you see all the people that just want to hang out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Very
It's
true.
that's the important thing. How many motherfuckers show up? How many motherfuckers do you know shit about their lives and how big is your community you're building between you and your followers and fellow streamers and how do you get along with your peers? You know what I mean? Do you have beef? Do you not
Right.
have beefs? Like just I wish people would just relax and just have a good
Yeah.
time,
That's
bro.
the
Like
vibe. Like,
we're all
that's
just trying to
really what
have
it's
fun.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all just trying to have fun, bro. If everyone would just take a deep breath, relax, be yourself and have a
Hmm.
good time, like we'd all have a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just
But
people sometimes have like a different, they have like different priorities,
mhm.
you know?
Yeah, you're not wrong. It seems like when it comes to what people care about the most. The people that unfortunately that make it very evident what's important to them, those are the people they might succeed for a while, but a lot of them fall off, and the reason is the lack of passion. Like if you're just passionate about chasing numbers and you stop reaching those numbers, you're gonna quit because like there's no reason to keep chasing the numbers. But if you're
Right.
passionate about streaming and being a streamer and waking up and like, what can I do to improve my stream? What are the homies doing today? Like, is any of the homies streaming? We go hang out with the homies. Like, those kinds of people are the ones that are going to keep going regardless. Because you might have life happen and you can't stream, but you can still be like hitting up streams and being in the community and be like, yeah, bro, we'll bounce back. No big deal, blah, 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 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I just feel like that's like super, super important. Like the
Right.
community is what matters. Like overall. That's why
Yeah.
it's like I said earlier, it's like the easy answer. What's your favorite part? Is the community. Like it's the
Right.
easy answer because it is the best part. Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
That's the support group, you know?
Hmm. Yep. Absolutely. Um, but on that note, what is your least favorite thing about being a streamer? Like
Least favorite thing.
there has to be like one thing like that just like that sucks. Even if it's just technical difficulties. Technical difficulties
I
sucks.
think, yeah, that's what we experience right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Yep.
say the technical difficulties is one. Um, I don't know. Actually, there is.
Oop, there we go.
I think that I think more of like the toxic people that come into the stream, they kind of just corrupt
Mm.
uh the vibe.
Yep.
That's the one thing that I
Yep.
least like. Um, I've had a few.
Yep.
Personally, I've had a few on my stream.
Mm-hmm.
Um, actually, we had let that individual play Fortnite, and then he was just going off left and right. Just it was just like kind of like at rough, like kind of just at random,
Wow.
and we had to just kind of time him out, and he just went on. I was like, you know what, you're not gonna make it, and
Mm-hmm.
switch. And I was like, why
Bro,
are you gonna
why
do that?
though?
Because after I'm just correcting you, just to kind of be respectful to everybody, you know. And
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing that's actually the one thing that I at least like is the so many good people that are out there, and then there's
Hmm.
just the bad apples in
Yep.
the tree that try and mess it up.
Yep. I agree with that statement. There are a lot of those
Mhm.
kinds of people, and I not only do I have a distaste for those types of people, but I also like feel for them at the same time because it's like
Mhm.
if you look at it from their point of view, like what kind of person do you have to be to where like you have free time and you're like I'm gonna go on Twitch and I'm gonna talk shit to people. Like we have
Yeah,
this person who keeps coming back named I love cops and then a bunch of numbers and then he just is like just get a job. You suck, blah blah blah. And it's just like how horrible is your life where
yeah,
that is your go-to form of entertainment for yourself. Like, don't go
yeah.
on
It's like how you
YouTube.
sleep.
Like what?
Yeah,
Like, I just, I don't get it. I feel bad for those people. I feel like those are the kids a lot of times who are like, didn't get enough love growing up and don't have
yeah,
friends. They're socially awkward and, and they want to connect, but they don't know how. Or you have people that come in and it's like, they just seek attention through the chat and it's sad to see. And I just come in and be like, "Hi, I'm so and so. What are you guys doing?" Like,
yeah.
you don't got to be a
I think
weirdo.
Yeah, one thing I think I'll probably add to that list is that some think that it's just cool just to go ahead and do that kind of thing. Like they're
Hmm.
gonna attract other people to do it. I think that's
Right.
another thing I would add to that list on
Yeah.
that.
And it's like the thing to me though, like if someone comes in and they're a new chatter and they're just immediately being negative and other
Yeah,
people that are in your chat like join in with that, like then
yeah,
cool, you just weeded out three bad apples. You know what I
you're
mean?
right.
To me,
Hmm.
that's like, hey, if you're gonna join in and be like, it's one thing if we're homies and we're going back and forth like busting balls, like that's one thing,
Hmm.
right? But it's another if you just like show up and you're like, ah, you suck, and it's just like,
Like a
wow,
random.
yeah, like okay, like
Yeah,
you know, fuck it. I don't care. Like people can come
yeah,
in my chat and say whatever they want. Like people that have a problem with me or for whatever reason, I don't know what that would be. But
mhm,
if you did, just come in. We can have a conversation
yeah,
even. Hell, I'll even do a podcast with someone that, you know, is disgruntled towards me for some fucking reason. Like I don't care. Like let's hash it out,
yeah,
buddy. What's wrong with you? Let's talk about it.
yeah,
We'll have a Dr. Phil sit down. I don't give a shit. Let's go.
yeah. On a high chair.
Exactly. So, do you have any other like hidden talents or hobbies that people on your stream may not even know about? Um,
Hmm.
or like are really
I
good at
used to bartend.
sports? Used to
I used to
bartend.
bartend.
Okay.
Yeah, a long time ago, and I held on to that for a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, there was a bar I used to go to. It was a pool hall that I would
Mhm.
go to here in town, and Mondays it was free pool regardless.
Mhm.
And so I started going there, and then I started vibing with the bartenders, the owners, the waitresses,
Yeah.
and then they started asking, "Well, have you ever like bartended or anything?" And well, I have the TABC license to do that.
Mhm.
And so it's an easy thing. It takes like 10 minutes to do, and you can get your license. So I went and got my license, and a lot of people go to like um, I think it's the bartending school to do everything, and I didn't even have to do that because I had a bartender. Her name was Sabrina.
Mhm.
She taught me the go-to on how to do everything, and um, on the slow days we did I remember this one day it was on a Saturday,
Mhm.
and they did kind of like a transition from red all the way to like just pretty much the rainbow all in just like shots.
Wow.
And she was just teaching me how to do that, and then took us maybe like 15-20 minutes. She's like, well, you just gotta kind of add the color to it, and it's like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like being able to like have a mentor when you're trying to learn something like that's sick. That's one thing I've always liked about the tattoo industry. Is just that you
Yeah.
can't go to tattoo school. You can't, I mean, you can go to art school and learn like
Hmm.
basic art techniques and history and theory and stuff like that. But, and you can learn to draw. But the best artists I've
Right.
ever seen that do tattoos are guys who just draw. They're so passionate about drawing and they're amazing
Hmm.
artists and they find a tattoo shop that goes, here, this is my artwork. Like, what can you do with me? And they go, I'm gonna teach you how to tattoo this shit. And
Yeah.
then they come in and they become a what's that word? A mentor and an apprentice. They become a tattoo apprentice. And you sit there and you just draw the same shit over and over. Like you'll draw rows thousands of times, just over and over
Yeah.
and over, drawing just random stuff like that, to where you can just freehand it at any given time. Learning, all this stuff about how to operate the shop. Even they have you do shit like run, go get food, run, go get my coffee, go wash my car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um,
Hmm.
but I've always like found that things like that are amazing. Like bartending is one of those ones where it's like there is a school, but if you have the right person to teach you, you don't need to go to the
You don't
school.
even have to go and spend all that money to go to the bartending school.
Exactly. And that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. What about like playing sports? You ever play sports as a kid?
I played in a billiards league a few years ago. It was an APA league.
Ooh, okay.
I did that for a couple. Yeah, I did that for a couple of years. Um, I got out of it because with working at a dealership, it just the times didn't balance out. When
Right.
I had a match to go to, I was still at work, and I had to kind of forfeit the match. So I did away with that.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping I can try and get back into that. Hopefully somehow.
Yeah.
Um, but that'd be something I would try and get back into, is to get into a billiards league again.
Sick. Okay. Nice. All right. So we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're
Okay.
gonna do the lightning round. So get ready.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
gonna be a lot of fun. Okay. All right. So we are back, and we're about to get into the lightning round. So, uh, here we go. So for those of you that don't know, this is very simple. It's like yes, no, this or that kind of answers. Um, but we also touch on a lot of stuff, and that's the whole meme, is that it's a lightning round that isn't so fast. So, uh, but let's get into it. Okay, so question number one, is the Earth round or flat?
It's around.
Okay. Do you know anyone that thinks it's flat?
Actually, no.
No, not one.
Well, no, I actually do. And this guy, we called this guy the conspiracy theorist because he always like read up on all about like it's like, well, you know that they're doing this and this at this facility in this other side of the world. And I was like, how do you read up on
What do
all
you?
this stuff? And he would sit. So we had the front doors,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like kind of catty cornered to like by the service department.
Mm-hmm.
And I just see him on the computer, and it's like, dude, you know what they're doing uh, to the ozone layer in this facility? I'm like, is
Mm-hmm.
that what you're doing besides calling clients?
Not doing your job, worrying about shit that
Yeah. He's
may
like,
or may not even be
and I
true.
remember him saying that. I remember saying that the world was flat. I was like, don't say that, dude.
Wow. Interesting. I mean, to
Yeah.
each their own. Like, if someone actually has, like, oh no, this is why I believe it, and this is this, and this is that, like, I'm more than happy to hear somebody out. But, like,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Very.
next question, being that you're in Texas, this might be interesting. Rap, rock, or country?
Oh, to define it had to be classic rock,
Classic rock.
like
Okay.
Van Halen, Motley Crue,
Okay.
Guns N' Roses.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Uh, what are your, like, top three favorite bands?
Mm. So it kind of resides in actually quite a couple of different groups, but if I had to narrow it down,
Mm-hmm.
three would be the Midnight, which is like a kind of retro wave, synth wave
Okay.
band.
Okay.
Van Halen would be two, and I'm sorry to put them as two.
Mm-hmm.
And then one would be a band called Time Cop 1983, which would be
Okay.
another one, which is that other like retro wave.
Interesting. I haven't heard of any of these bands. I'm gonna have to look into these guys. Um, is that what you grew up on? Was just like classic rock and stuff?
Yeah, 80s more generally.
80s? Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense. I feel like what your parents listen to has an effect on what you like. Either you really like what they listen to,
yeah.
or you branch off and rebel, um, because you don't like what they're listening to. Kind of,
No,
you know what I mean? I feel like
no,
that.
there was a lot of good like 80s stuff that had like a lot of good music, so I vibed off to that.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. All right. Are aliens working with the CIA? What's your play a partner at work have to say about
From the
that?
stuff I've been seeing and a couple of things I've read,
Hmm.
I would say yes.
You say yes? Okay.
I would say yes because that government doesn't say much,
Hmm.
but I highly think I
Hmm.
think so. Yeah,
Yep. We
I'll agree with that.
if this podcast gets shut down for anything, that's what it's going to be about.
Yeah,
If someone goes on a rant about that ever on this stream or on this
yeah,
podcast, like we're fucked.
yeah.
We're fucked.
Go track those guys down.
Hmm. Have you ever seen any weird shit in the skies of Texas?
No, but my dad told me when he was in his 20s,
Hmm.
um, he remembered hearing like a weird sound over the house, and then three light or kind of like red lights in a circle, and
Okay.
he looked up and I was like, "Is that what I think it is?" And then he walked outside, and it was already like further into the distance. This was back in the it was like before I was born, like in 80, 84, 85
Okay.
when
Okay.
it happened. And he's always mentioned that as yeah, like it's they're out there. It's like I seen it.
Damn. So was that around the time of the whole Phoenix Lights thing? Was somewhere around there? I'm
Was
pretty.
it 84, 85? I think.
It was somewhere in the 80s. I know that for
Yeah,
sure. But
I
yeah.
have to look, but I know he told me that it was like around 84, 85 when that particular thing happened.
Wow, that'd be crazy if they were like connected.
Yeah,
That'd be wild because I mean you weren't that far
yeah.
away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For a vessel of that magnitude, I mean who knows?
Yeah.
Um. Anyway, Android or iPhone?
Android.
Android. Okay, what's your daily carry?
It is a Samsung Z Flip 5.
Ooh, okay, good choice. Good choice. How long have you had that? Not very long, I take it.
Not too long. I would say like about two 2 months.
2 months.
2 months I've had it.
What'd you have before that?
I had a Motorola G Power that the only reason I bought it was because of the battery. It lasted like 2, 3 days without me having to charge it.
Hmm. Interesting. Motorola's make really good phones. People sleep on
Yeah.
Motorola. For the price point,
Hmm.
you can get a really good like
Right.
the I have a S23 Ultra, but before that I had a Moto Razor, and it was like I didn't even realize it until I like was not going to use it anymore. It had a 256 gig hard drive in it and a 50
Mhm.
megapixel camera. I was like, what the fuck? I can fold this bitch in my
Yeah.
pocket and text people on the outside screen. What the fuck? The phone was amazing. People sleep on
Yeah.
Motorola. Don't sleep on Motorola.
Yep. Nope.
Okay. Would you rather be rich or famous or rich and famous?
Rich.
Rich.
Mhm.
If you had unlimited money, money didn't matter. Every time you swiped your card, it was going through. What would you do with your time?
I'd probably still be doing this.
Right.
I'd get I'd probably get like kind of like the equipment I need, but I'd probably still be doing this. I'd
Mm-hmm.
probably even leave my job just to do this full time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
'Cause I feel like because I've seen people do this full time. Like you had Miho on the show. He does it
Mm-hmm.
for a living,
Mm-hmm.
and I commend him on that.
Mm-hmm.
And like those kind of people, just to be in those shoes, just to kind of make that off of a living and have fun at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah. I think being able to do this full time would be amazing. Like I wish that was my life and like it's not there yet, but I think it very well could be at some point. Um, but yeah, I feel like that's like the people that want to stream regardless, if money's even involved, is a big deal to
Right.
me. Like, if you were to keep streaming and you never made a cent, would you still do it? You know what I
I do
mean?
it.
Exactly.
Hmm. I would.
Exactly. Those are the kinds of people that'll always be streamers, be and keep trucking along. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Taking it inch by inch because as long as you stay passionate and you stay humble and you stay motivated, you can basically accomplish anything. You know what I
You mean
mean?
positive and motivated, right?
Positive and meowed. I still don't know how to say that right. I always fuck it up. Just meowtivated, meowtivated,
Motivated.
meowtivated. All right. Lightning or USB Type C?
USB Type C.
Yeah, I figured being an Android guy, it'd be an easy one for you.
Yeah, usually the stuff they have it runs off of that the same ports.
Mm-hmm.
It's no issue if it's USB-C.
Yeah. Yeah. USB Type C all the way for me. It
Yeah,
again, like you said, it's everything else uses it. Like I don't know why the
universal.
Lightning lasted as long as it did. Honestly, I think they should have switched 5 years
Yeah.
ago.
Hmm.
But anyway, here you go. Here's a good one. Beef or pork chorizo? What's your go-to?
Beef.
Beef. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, how do you normally cook it? Like, do you do it just by itself with eggs, or do you do it with papas too, or like, what's your go-to?
Little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Just depends on the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I feel that. I haven't done it with papas in a long time, but like, I want to. I
Hmm.
probably should. Pick up a couple potatoes and do that. I haven't done it in a while. You just do
Yeah.
just eggs, and that's it. Like, I don't know.
The flavors, I would say like the flavor is a little bit different
Mm-hmm.
when you mix it together,
Mm-hmm.
but
It
when you
does.
do it, it's perfect.
Yep. I agree. I agree. Are you more of a beer person or liquor person?
Oh, dude. I'm more of a person. I'm more of if I had to pick, it'd either be Dos Equis or Modelo.
Okay. Okay.
Um, if I went with liquor, it'd probably be maybe either a tequila sunrise or Jack and Coke.
Interesting. Okay.
But I would lean more towards I'm more lean towards beer if anything.
Yeah. Okay. How do you
Mhm.
feel about the insurgence of seltzers taking over the alcohol market in the last few years?
I couldn't vibe with it for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason. I've seen numerous companies do it, and when I saw Bud Light do it, I'm like, yeah, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I tried a little bit of it, and it doesn't settle.
Yes, I like them because they go down like you can fucking shotgun one, no problem. Even if you can't shotgun a
Yeah,
beer, you could shotgun one of those fucking things.
yeah,
And I like the Truly teas, but other than that, like, it it took me a long time just to even try one. And then I tried one. I was like, fuck, these are actually kind of nice in the hot
yeah,
California sun in the summertime. You know what I mean? Like these ain't
yeah.
bad at the lake, you know. But
Hmm.
I haven't. That was the last thing I was drinking were like seltzers. Um, and then I haven't had any in a while now. It's been a few months since I've drank anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's not for any like particular reason. I just like stopped. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anyway, uh, oof, this is another one. So because you're Texas, this will be interesting. East Coast or West Coast?
East Coast.
East Coast. Why East Coast?
Yeah, because I've been more around the city,
Yeah,
if anything. So a lot of the major cities or the majority of them are, I think, are more on the East Coast. So I think
yeah.
I would buy more with the East Coast. No offense to West Coast, but
No offense, West Coast. I mean, we don't have any major cities. We just have like LA, Seattle, San Francisco,
yeah,
Sacramento, Oakland, Fresno. That's about it though. Portland.
Yeah.
That's about. We don't have a lot of big major. I mean, the big. Let's see, we got Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, L.A. Those would be the four big ones. Um,
Right.
yeah, and then on the East Coast, yeah, you got Philly, New York, Boston,
Miami.
Miami, Orlando, Atlanta. We got all
Yeah.
kinds. I got yeah. Yeah, you guys got some more stuff to do, and the diversity's
Yeah.
huge diversity difference. Where West
Yeah.
Coast isn't, I feel like it's like the higher you go up, it just gets wetter. Like that's it. And the wetter it gets, the more relaxed you are. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only difference. Um, but yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, Windows or Mac?
Windows.
Windows.
Yeah.
Have you ever owned a Macintosh?
No, but I did use one from time to time, but I just
Yeah.
couldn't get used to it.
Yeah, no, like I started with Mac when I was really little, so
Yeah.
it was much easier for me to make the switch when I was still a kid over to Windows. But like I always wonder that about people. Like I'm sure there's people now that have, there's adults now that have grown up only knowing the internet, only knowing cell phones. Um,
Right.
you know what I mean? So it's like I wonder how many people are out there that have even used a Macintosh because it's not very common unless you're in like, you do a lot of art or you have like a very new age media company or something. I don't even know. I don't even know the
Right.
type of people that use Macs anymore, really. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's always one that I always want to know about. Like, if you don't like Mac, have you ever even used one? Like, I'm Windows. Don't get me wrong, but like,
Mhm.
it's you kind of understand by using a Mac like where the iPhone comes from. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The first computer I used was a Mac computer, and that was in first grade.
Hmm.
And it was those ones that were like the acrylic see-through ones. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
everything was like built into the
Hmm.
monitor.
Yep, yep.
Um, yeah, that was my first one.
Yeah, I mentioned those in the in another episode. We were talking about like
Yeah,
the Macs that were all different colors, and like when those came out,
yeah,
that's when I made the switch. Because it was either get one of those or go get this Windows 3.1 laptop that was black and white Toshiba, but I could plug in a monitor, a keyboard, and a mouse, and close it, and had a PC, and I thought it was the coolest shit in the world. So I went that
yeah.
route. Um, but okay, Sony, Canon, or Nikon?
Mm. 'Cause I use Sony for a lot of products, but if it was for photography, it had to be Canon.
Hmm. Okay. Like film photography?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
well, I was a photographer for a couple years,
Okay.
and my camera was a Canon. My first Canon was an EOS 60D with the 135 millimeter lens.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
That's not a bad setup at all. Yeah, I say the same thing. If I'm shooting film, I want to use a Canon for sure.
yeah,
The Sony digital technology is amazing. So if I wanted to use it for like a digital camcorder or something, I'd probably go to Sony. But yeah, shooting film, Canon all day.
yeah.
This next one will be pretty easy to figure out. So PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
PlayStation. Have you
Yeah,
always been PlayStation?
yeah.
Yeah.
I tried Xbox for a little bit, and I don't know. Maybe I'll get an Xbox in the future
Mm-hmm.
and kind of see how it's different from PlayStation.
Yeah. I mean,
There's some games on Xbox I wish I can play, but
yeah.
they don't make it for PlayStation.
Well, the thing is now with the way the technology is moving, like you don't even really need an Xbox anymore. You can play most of the Microsoft games on a PC now, so like I don't
Mhm.
even use my Xbox anymore. It's sitting right there over my shoulder, and it just sits there, collecting dust.
Yeah,
I played like Forza, like I play on the PC. The game I was playing yesterday, play on the PC. Like I'm basically just a PC gamer. Like the only
yeah.
thing that hasn't switched over yet is GTA because if you move it over to the new version, I don't know that I can play that on PC. And my account's been moved over from like the old version of GTA Online to the new version. I haven't even like fucked
Mhm.
with it because I'm afraid that it's not gonna work or like the game's gonna be too powerful for the PC and then I'm not gonna be able to play it on the console again or whatever. So I haven't even messed with it,
Right.
but Forza is what I played mostly anyway. So now I just play
What's your
like.
take on the GTA trailer coming out?
Mm, so here's my thing. Is my I don't know if you know this or not, but for a long time, because I've been in the GTA shit a long time. Like
Mm.
I bought a Sony PlayStation 2 just to play San Andreas. I bought the super collector's edition of GTA 4 when it came out, and I pre-ordered that bitch. When GTA 5 came out, um, I already had a PlayStation 1, so I didn't need to buy anything, but I bought the Series X for the expanded and enhanced version of GTA coming out. It wasn't even out yet, but they
Mm.
announced it, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna go get a Series X and a 4K TV so I can play that shit at top specs. So that's what I did.
Right.
Um, and I have said for a very, very long time that I believe that GTA 6 is a myth. And what I mean by that is GTA 6 is a myth. Not that there's not a new chapter, is what they keep saying, or the next, they keep saying like the next chapter of GTA. And my problem is Grand Theft Auto Online has been the most profitable game they've ever done. It has been going since day one. Um, I've been playing it since the first day it went live online. Um, and I love that game. But the thing is, that game's almost 10 years old, and it's still going strong. They're still making DLCs for it. They're still making new content. Why would they kill that by releasing a new game? Because here's the thing is if that new game fails for some reason, a lot of people may or may not go back to GTA Online. I mean
Right.
the people that do like the GTA RP and shit, that's a whole other ball game. I think those people won't even move over to GTA 6 for a while because they're so heavily invested in RP shit. You have real money, real time, real relationships, and all these things. Yeah, you'll go over and you'll play it, but I guarantee the online for it, if they make an all new GTA Online version, that won't even be out right away. Guaranteed, number one. Number
Yeah.
two, once it does come out, then all the communities that do all the RP shit have to figure out how to integrate it. Can they even integrate it? I've heard that Rockstar is now going to be working with some of the biggest companies that do the RP shit, so it may all just be self-integrated now. We don't know. But
Yeah.
I digress. My whole thing is that I don't believe that they are going to just come out with an all new game. I think what's going to happen is, and there's evidence that leads me to this conclusion, that I think that GTA that they release is going to be like GTA Online 2.0. Okay. Um, I
It's just
think
pretty much an update.
pretty much because no one's
Yeah.
buying and playing the story mode of GTA Online or of GTA 5. They're playing to go online and they're playing the online. The online is where they made all their money. They didn't sell, all they didn't make all their money from people playing the story mode. They made all their money from playing online. So it's their biggest money maker. They make more money every quarter. So why would they kill that? Number one. Number two, um, the reason I think they're going to make an expansion of it is that, and that's what I think is they're going to just make an expansion to where you can basically now go to an airport, jump on an airplane, and fly to like Liberty City, fly to Vice City. Like there's a lot of stuff about this new game is like Vice City. I think it's going to be Vice City that will be the first expansion, and then after that they'll try to do like San Andreas, like the San Fierro for San Francisco, do Las
Yeah.
Venturas, do Liberty City, and that would be the future where you can literally go from you'd still have all your character, your money, everything, all the time and money you've invested in the game doesn't go anywhere. It just moves over to the new one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They'll just migrate.
Because too many people like myself have too much money and time invested in GTA Online to just stop playing that to play some other shit. Like
Yeah.
it's been around for 10 years and there's still a avid community for it. T Grizzly's playing that shit live all the time with thousands of viewers. Like this shit ain't stopping. You know what I mean? So I think this next chapter is going to be GTA Online 2.0 in some fashion and not necessarily an entirely new game. I could be very, very wrong, but um, they've never said GTA 6, unless they're saying, hey, people always ask about GTA 6. Whenever they make statements, they always say the next chapter, the next journey, or whatever. They never say like the actual title. And like I
Right.
said, I could be very, very wrong, and I'm gonna laugh my ass off if the next chapter in Grand Theft Auto is a mobile game. I'm going to die laughing. It's not actually GTA 6. That would be the best. Is like, oh, the next chapter
Yeah.
of GTA announcement in December turns out to be fucking. Oh yeah, we're coming out with GTA 5 on mobile. Now you can play it on mobile. I'm gonna fucking die laughing, bro. All you dude, they're gonna roast that company so hard on Twitter. Oh my
Yeah.
god, it's gonna be crazy. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm
Yeah.
hopeful, but I don't see them killing their number one moneymaker, and I don't see people giving up everything that they've invested in it to go to a different version of what they've already played and start from scratch. Like maybe, but
Yeah.
I don't. I think it'll be. I think that's a bad move, but I could be wrong. Who knows? I don't work in that industry.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
from a fan's perspective, I don't want to lose everything I've earned and all the time I've invested to play some
Right.
shit that may or may, and it'll probably be buggy, and people will go over there and roast it, and yeah, who knows? Maybe, maybe not. Or it's only story mode. GTA Online will live on because that's kind of what I think could very well happen is they'll release the game, but you'll be able to also get that added on to GTA Online at some point to where you can move over to it. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see. Anything could
Yeah.
happen. Anything could happen. um.
Yeah.
Anyway, see now I'm rambling. Okay, next question. The Hub or OnlyFans?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Yes.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, I haven't quite figured out how to ask any more into that once someone gives an
Like
answer.
like how?
Like, I don't even know what the
'Cause
next question should be.
I think because, and as dumb it may sound, uh, there could be people that you may have closely known, like somebody that you went to school with, and like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, all of a sudden they did an OnlyFans, like,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of kept you in curiosity, so to say.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. That's interesting. That's an
I think that's
interesting
the only
take.
reason. I think that's the only reason why. I think the hub, it's more of like big names, so to say.
Yeah.
Um, this one, it's like OnlyFans. I think it's more of like entrepreneurs kind of trying to start out and then
Yeah.
see how it's going to progress from there. I
Yeah.
think.
I kind of feel like as a Twitch streamer, it could almost hit like a certain nerve for somebody. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like they're like you can almost relate to it in a
Right.
way. So like I have wondered that like if anyone's like, well, it's kind of just 'cause like it feels like Twitch, but they're naked.
Yeah.
You know? Um but yeah, interesting, interesting. Okay. Football or baseball?
Football.
Football. What's your team? Cowboys?
Miami.
Miami. Interesting. Why Miami?
Yeah. I grew up around the Dan Marino
Oh, okay.
era, so ever since then, I kind of grew up around it. I know there were like a couple of tough seasons, but
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's kind of a little shaky this year. But
Gotcha.
for the most part, I think they're doing a little decent.
Nice. Okay. Interesting. What made you a Miami fan? Just besides growing up in that era, like how'd you come across like this is the team?
I probably had to go back to Dan Marino how he played
Yeah.
at the time, and he was a fan favorite, my favorite,
Mm-hmm.
and that just progressed on forward with the team.
Okay. Did you grow up in
Everybody
Miami?
went, huh?
Did you grow up in Miami?
No,
No.
never grew up in Miami. I was born and raised here in Texas.
Okay.
Um, Now the house is divided into like three when it comes to football.
Okay.
My dad's a Raiders fan and my mom's a Cowboys fan. So it's like
Ooh,
Sunday,
interesting.
it's like very
It can get spotty on Sundays.
competitive.
Oh my God, we got to see
Like,
that
you
stream
get
now
this
too.
portion of the room and I'll get the other portion, or I'll just sit in the other room.
We got to get that stream. Mom
Yeah,
and dad's team rivalry playing against each
yeah.
other, or your team's
And
playing against
everybody's
one of
got their
theirs.
own jersey.
Dude, that's gangster. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it. Okay. Do you still have cable TV?
No. Mm-mm.
No. Okay. What about parents?
Mm-mm.
Do they have cable TV?
No,
No. So it's just strictly internet?
no. Yeah, strictly internet.
Oh, nice, nice. Okay. How long have you not had cable? So far?
3 years.
3 years. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
3 years.
And who made the decision that no more cable?
Me.
You? Okay. Hey, that works. You just say like,
Yeah,
I got Netflix, I'm good, or what?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Spotify or YouTube Music?
Oh man, I use both,
Yeah.
but majority of the playlists that I have are is on YouTube Music,
Okay.
so I
Interesting.
have to go to YouTube Music.
Okay. And how do you like it so far? Is it pretty easy to use?
I find it more easier to use because I think now you can switch it from either just listening just to the song, or I think you can even change it to where it's like a video,
Mm-hmm.
and you can still add that to the playlist regardless if it's a video or if it's a just like an audio, just audio song, not a video or anything.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, America or Japan?
Mm. To visit or to mm.
I always just ask it like kind of just in general. Like it could be like I don't know, like which one do you think's better? Which one would
Japan.
you rather live in? Uh, hell, what culture you like better, I
The,
guess. I don't know.
the culture in Japan's, I love it.
Hmm.
I like their culture. Um, I've always wanted to make a trip over there. Yeah,
Hmm.
still a goal
Yep.
on the to-do list for sure.
Yep. I'd love to retire in Japan. Just if I could do this full time and live in Japan and then just travel when I'm not streaming, that would and drive when I'm not streaming, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be sick. There's one guy, his name's Samit. He's a YouTuber from Australia who lives in Japan. His wife's Japanese. They just had a baby. He recently, in the last like year like or so, got a nice shop in Japan, and he's a pro drifter now. He drifts in Formula D Japan and I think D1 or maybe not D1, maybe just Formula D Japan. Um,
Mm.
but he is a Twitch streamer also, and he live streams from inside his car while he's on Twitch. Like he has a bunch of cameras set up in his car, like hanging from the roll cage, and then he's got like chat alerts and like sound notifications. Like his stream setup in his car is like next level because you got to realize he needs a solid internet source. He needs plenty of juice for all the devices. Like it's a task. And this fool goes to like open track days when he or to practice and rigs up his car and literally live streams while he's drifting on track, and it is the coolest shit um when he does it. And like being able to do that while living in
Mm.
Japan and streaming, it would be that's the dream. That's the dream.
I think I think Sweets does the same thing now, but I think he just races. I don't think he drifts.
um
BTV Sweets, I think does. I think he did a stream.
I don't know who that
Um,
is.
he's part of the Pokemon community. He has like I think it's a BRZ or I think it's a Super BRZ,
Huh.
and he has it wrapped and it has Twitch on the hood of his car. And he did a stream from inside the car, but I think it wasn't drifting. It was just racing out on the
R-
track.
really? What
Yeah,
do
this
you know what
was
part of the world he's from?
North. Well, he's here in North America.
Huh. And what's his name again?
It's TTV Sweets, I think.
TTV Sweets. I'll have to look
Yeah,
into that.
he's part of the Pokemon community though.
Wow. I had no idea. I'll have to look into that because one of the homies was just bringing up there was some guy who was into racing who was a Pokemon breaker or something
That's probably him.
in the Pacific Northwest, and I have no idea who he was. Um, I'll have to look into that. Maybe that's the guy. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that's probably him. I think
Interesting.
if that's the same one that he's talking about. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that would be super dope though. Like being able to stream from like I see people that are like long haul truck drivers that'll do streams while they're driving and stuff like that. and that's cool, but it's another to be like on a track and
Right. Yeah.
focusing while you have sound notifications going off and people subbing and following and all this shit, and you have all these like distractions while you're trying to focus on the fucking track. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
but if you could do that and you can do all that and integrate it into your training as a driver, you could also become a better driver from it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like less distractions and shit. Like, or having more distractions and still be able to maintain like 100% focus on the track and the
Yeah.
task in front of you. I something to be said about that. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
wild.
His the overlay he had, I think he had like track times, like
Hmm.
positions,
That's sick.
all on the stream.
That's wild. He must have like a
Yeah.
whole
He
laptop or
did it
something.
last month. I don't know if how often he does it, but he has the car wrapped with a Twitch
Huh.
um logo in the hood, everything.
I'm gonna have to look into this guy. Sounds like my
Yeah.
cup of tea.
Yep.
All right. So, war breaks out. Are you going to Mexico or Canada?
Mexico.
Mexico. Any place in
Yeah.
particular?
Mm, at least somewhere nice, Cancun.
Cancun, somewhere,
Yeah.
somewhere that has Starbucks and McDonald's,
Yeah.
and a beach, preferably.
Have a mojito
There you
when
go.
stuff's going bad.
Bro, I love mojitos. I was into mojitos for a hot minute, like in like late 2000s, and it was like everywhere I go they couldn't even make them. Like because I lived in this little town in Washington and no one knew how to make them. Most of the time they didn't even have mint. And I'm like, and it's like a Mexican restaurant. It was like my best bet to getting one. And so they started making them because like me and the homies after work on Fridays, because we got paid every Friday, we'd go to this little Mexican restaurant and hang out in the bar there. It'd be like empty, just like three, four, five of us. And he started making me mojitos. He would literally, the bartender would go to on Friday, start going on his way to work, stop, get mint at the grocery store so he could make me mojitos. I fucking love them
Mhm.
shits, bro. That was my
Yeah.
shit. I haven't had them in a long time though, but I'll tell you what, on a hot sunny day, I'll take that over anything. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yep.
Um, okay. Pizza or tacos?
Tacos.
Being from Texas, it seems like the easy answer. And
Yeah.
it's I feel like you have a lot of good tacos in Texas and not a lot of good pizza.
Especially in the nightlife when you get street tacos, you have to
Mm-hmm.
get al pastor
Yep.
mini tacos with
Yep.
cilantro and
Mm-hmm.
onions. And
Yep.
that'll make the night so much better
Mm-mm.
after a night on the town.
And don't sleep on the pineapple chunks either. Ain't
No.
Don't sleep. This shit is amazing. That's my go-to. If they have it and they got, especially if they got a spit going, fuck.
Yeah.
They got a spit. That's all I want. I don't want nothing else. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't need to know what anything else tastes like. Just give me al pastor, fool. That's my shit.
Yeah.
Um. Ooh. Because this is you are from Texas. I don't even know if you've had these other two things, but I'm gonna throw Whataburger in there. But Shake Shack, Five Guys, In and Out, or Whataburger.
I might have to say Waterburger, but there's another burger joint here in town called Burger Boy
Okay.
that's been here back in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
I would say they're better than Waterburger.
Damn.
Yeah, they only had one location, which was on place here in town called the St. Mary's Strip.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, I think they were only open until like about 10:30, like on the weekend, and then they opened one on the south part of town and then the north part of town. The only one that they originally had was closer to downtown
Okay.
San Antonio.
Okay. Have you ever had In and Out?
I did.
You did? What'd you think? Did you like it or
I
not like it?
mm, I mean, it's possible if I can't. If
Okay.
it's like the closest thing, I'll take it. But
Okay. Well, we're not friends anymore, but that's fine. Well, what about Shake Shack? Have you ever had Shake Shack?
yes,
Okay. And what about Five Guys? Have you had Five Guys?
yes,
Out of
that I
the
have.
out of those three, which do you think was the best?
The Shake Shack was
Shake
good.
Shack. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Like Shake Shack is like to me kind of artsy, and then it's like Five Guys is East Coast, and In and Out's like West Coast, and
Yeah.
then obviously Whataburger is like Texas.
Yeah.
So it's like it's interesting being, but with your geographic location, what your take is on all those others. You
Hmm.
know, with like you know the Mexican food being from so fire in Texas, barbecue from Texas, like meat is a big deal. So it's like, you
Yeah.
know, where do burgers sit with you is an interesting perspective. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
Um, okay. DC or Marvel?
Marvel.
Marvel. Who's your go-to?
Iron Man.
Iron Man. Okay. Why Iron Man?
Just classy guy. That's pretty much defines me as just classy, just the technology,
Yeah. Okay.
and it all just combined all into one.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like backstory and everything, he kind of there's a lot of similarities between him and like Batman,
Right.
being that they don't have powers per se, but they got money, will, determination, they're smart, you know, they made shit happen. So that's
Right.
cool. It's interesting.
Hmm.
All right, ramen or pho?
Ramen.
Ramen. What you go to for ramen?
Mm. I don't know. Just really depends on the mood.
Hmm.
Um, God, I can't even pinpoint it because all of them are too good.
Yeah, I see. I'm more of a pho guy. I like pho, and I don't know if it's just because I ate so much ramen growing up, but like
Yeah.
cheap, shitty ramen that like I
Yeah.
prefer pho. I don't know what it is, but I love me some pho, man. Pho is my shit.
Yeah.
I love it. Like when I get sick, man, a Japanese whiskey and a big bowl of spicy ass pho,
There
and
you go.
maybe a banh mi. If I need to like fill my stomach because I've been puking all day, then I'll go with the banh mi. But that's like,
Yeah.
oh, nothing's better. Nothing's better when you're sick. I swear to
Yeah.
God. But all right. So interesting. So that is basically all I have for you. You got any questions for me before we wrap it up?
No, sir. Appreciate you having me on here. It's an honor to be on part of the podcast.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you doing this. I feel like a lot of people have seen your name in chat, may or may not even know anything about you other than, you know, this guy shows up and he's got this big positive message to drop in the chat for everyone. And you know, those of us who are afraid of reading publicly
Yeah.
may or may not dread your presence, but I love having you in chat. I love seeing you pop into chats, and I've seen you pop into all kinds of channels. So I love to see it. Keep doing it. I think the world needs more
Yes, sir.
people like you that just want to spread positivity and be a positive person and not be such an asshole. So keep it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. And make sure you follow the homie on IG. He stays keeping the IG lit. Probably should have touched on that a little bit, but make sure to follow the homie on IG. And other than that, man, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it, taking time out of your
Fair enough.
day to spend with me and get to know each other a little bit better.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
All right, bro. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
we're gonna go ahead and get out of here.
Sideways, boys in the days.